Hey, what's going on? I'm Corey and I run a five-figure AI automation business. And today we're ready for our third part of our five-part series of phases of business automations and how you can get the most out of implementing AI into your business. Today we have got the most exciting topic, revenue systems, the one that everyone jumps to, the one that everyone just wants to get to and just ignore the rest, essentially. So let's jump into it and let's make some money. So revenue systems, we have spent the last couple of days going through foundation clarity. We understood what they're how to build the foundation so we don't start getting these bottlenecks. We start implementing AI and we start causing problems. Similar to this, we're driving down this road. If we start implementing AI and we're going hell of a lot faster, these bottlenecks and these logs are just going to appear, and then you're going to stop, and then we're going to go again, and there's going to be something else. So we want to make sure that the road is clear, so it's just straight through. We also captured efficiency. So once it's clear, how do we know it goes straight through, right? But how do we double that speed? How do we do triple, 4 times? And that's what we went through for yesterday's video, the capture efficiency. Now today we are going revenue systems. A lot of people will just skip and they'll go straight to this and they'll do 1 and then 2. And that's what they think implementing AI looks like. I'll just start with revenue system. I'll implement this stuff and boom, I can go to an island and, I can relax. This is me right here, when it's just simply not the case. So doing this, you think is like this, but really what happens if you start here, you go here, you find an error, you fix it, and then you make it more efficient, and then you go back here again to increase systems, and then this is usually the what occurs. So we want to make sure that we cover this and we just go in a straight line. So optimizing revenue. We need to turn automation to actual profit, and this is where the systems start earning. So before, it was the systems we spoke about was very much efficiency driven. It was very much want to get the maximum amount and the maximum velocity, I guess. So if we look at like a graph, what we were doing, and it goes like this, what we're doing is we're doing this ramp up period here. So we're implementing the systems to make it quicker, and then possibly here might be where the dollars start. So then we have a system that runs quicker, and once we start doing the revenue, it then skyrockets up. So what we're going to do today is we're going to fix the revenue leaks, we're going to personalize your follow-ups, and automate conversion drivers. And you'll be surprised that there's not a lot. There's this perception that there's a perception that we need to implement so many different AI things to generate so much revenue. But really, it's very simple little ones and very simple channels that actually have the biggest impact. So it's not about implementing everything. All the new VO, for example, is drop for video editing. I need to just boom on this and post it across all my social media. Well, that's not really the case because that might not be the best ROI for the system. So just keep that in mind. To some of the symptoms that you're stuck here in phase 3. So leads aren't coming in, which is majority of businesses, or leads are coming in, but they're not converting. Leads not coming in is a very big problem for businesses, but not converting is an even bigger one. Your sales pipeline is disorganized. This means someone comes in and, like we spoke about before, the allocation of staff might not have been there. It might have been just very scattered and random email sending of, welcome onboarding and, hey, can you send a follow-up to this person? It's very disorganized. No follow-up sequences or tracking, which is huge. I would say about 90% of every businesses I go into, there's no follow-up sequence or tracking, even when they're flowing through the pipeline. You rely on memory or notes to sell. Hopefully not now, because we solved that in phase 2. And there's no visibility on funnel performance. So when we go to funnels, this is the most common issue with, like every issue. There's a lot of issues with businesses when it comes to the sales. What they do is they track here, you know, they might track this bit and they might track this bit. So what they're doing is they're tracking the people coming in, so the customer acquisition value, and then maybe they're doing like a close rate, and then maybe like a revenue here, revenue. But then they're not tracking, the people that are around here that are halfway through. We might have, let's do it in red. We might have one person that came here and we're like, yay, we've got some dollars coming in. But then maybe we have, 20, 30 people there, or maybe we have about 80% of our potential customers just falling out here, and maybe there's, they're dripping out. Then this isn't really the issue. There's a big issue here. So it's important to track. It's important to track, maybe this the middle part of the funnel. Are we tracking this? Because this can lead to a huge amount of dollars. So some of the example stacks, if you're not familiar, a stack is a grouping of systems that you use to accomplish a task, essentially. In terms of an automation stack, you would probably have a CRM of some point. If not, then probably a Google Sheets. Go high level, Pipedrive, HubSpot is all one of them. You'll use an automation. If you're comfortable with decent amount of learning and you've got some time, then I would suggest make.com. Otherwise, if you don't have time and you just want to single prompt it and you just put in, I want to connect this and that, then go with Zapier. You have some sort of follow-up. So instantly, any sort of mailbox, Smartly, Twilio is for the SMSs. And then you have an analytics. So Google Sheets, dashboards, you got Airtable dashboards. Databox is a fabulous program as well. We can also streamline very simply to give you sales dashboards in here. Now, what to implement? This is the crux of it, and we're probably going to stay on this slide for a long time. Now, let's go with the first one. So, sales follow-up sequence. We need to make sure that when we're doing this, when someone books all the way to close, that there is a sequence, whether it's email, SMS, or private message. There should be something, right? Now, how we can do this is if it's done through a CRM, something like Go High Level, HubSpot does it as well. You can actually set all this up in the automations. It will look similar to this, and you just put boxes, essentially boxes like Zapier, where you need to. And we'd be putting SMS. Possibly we'll do it here, and this might be 24 hours out. Then we might have email here, 12 hours out. 6 hours, and then usually 1 hour we want to do hey, looking forward to this meeting running on time or something like that. You'd sort of want a mixture of these. You also have multi-path ones, which can be handy depending on certain situations. So you could really dial this down to really complex if you wanted to. I mean, we could even, doing this through Make, you could do, you could even add like icebreakers or something in here. Let's just go our weather example because it's simple and we use it for everything. We could have like, this is a sunny, this is an exaggerated example, and then this is cloudy. Nice. But in the emails, we could say, hey, like, let's go. This says a 24-hour email. Hey, the weather is beautiful today. Really looking forward to our meeting. See you tomorrow or something like that. Hey, the weather is miserable, but we must continue and we must make money, or whatever business you're doing. This can also apply for tradies as well. So people doing constructions, if there's like needs to be a cancellation or something, what we can do is we can add a module here to check the weather. And then if there's a X amount percent, maybe a 60% chance of rain, then we can always set up rescheduling automations in here as well. But this is the follow-up sequence. So they book here and then they close here. Lead scoring and deal stage tracking. Lead scoring is a powerful, powerful tool, and there's not a lot of businesses that are doing it amazingly. When you go into like the larger scale, right, they're just using the form as a lead scorer. So they'll put in certain details here. Maybe one of them will be like revenue. How much are you earning per year? And they'll use that as a lead scoring. But actually, what may actually be better is when we actually use ChatGPT to do some of these scoring, right? So let me pull one that we've done previously. So they submit the form and they want to work out, rather than just use the static fields of, let's go with how much revenue have you earned, what's your plans, what's your goals, and all this. You can still put it in. You can put as much detail, although I won't put too much because it'll sign them away. But then we can start using ChatGPT, right? So if we replace this here with something like job form or a Google form, let's just put a Google form for now, and we're going to watch for when someone creates a Google form, we can trigger from here and we can extract certain details from it. We can start analyzing it and scoring everything. I mean, it could be as simple as something like this, really, where the Google form comes in, it analyzes it, it gives it a score, and then possibly it goes into, creates a deal in your CRM. But this will still score it, and we can give the reasoning of it. So, this is, let's see if we can open this. We'll show. So we can say, see if 25 points if it matches a street keyword or if it's adjacent to certain suburbs, depending on the project scopes, like what's this? So rather than just being like, if it earns $50, if they earn 50K a year, they get 1 or 2. You can actually set it up so it's an addition as well. So if they say X, they get 1 point. If they say Y, they get 3 points, and it adds it up. And then you can say anything over 20 is a hot lead, essentially. So we can add, this is that lead scoring, and then it goes into the CRM. From there, the sales team can maybe touch only stuff that is a hot lead. Anything that's a warm lead, not quite ready, they haven't got the financial situation. This sort of works with higher ticket ones. So if they can't afford the service, but they might be able to afford a smaller package, they would probably be, like a 15. So they might be a warm lead. Now, we may not want to dedicate our sales force, our sales reps to the warm leads. So maybe what we want to do is put them in a nurture sequence or upsell them via email to maybe a smaller package. So if I sell one-on-one coaching services, maybe my nurture sequence before is a group, an online community where these people can build wealth together, or they can sort of get a taste of what we do. School community is a great example. And we can sell them to that plus an ebook. But then we don't need to dedicate our sales resource to this nurturing to get them from a 15 to a 20. So lead scoring is incredibly valuable. Deal stage tracking as well is sort of what we spoke about here. So we want to track when they go into the next one. So maybe they didn't attend this, maybe they had the call here and then they didn't attend. I mean, we should be tracking. Why didn't they attend? Or, they didn't attend here. Have we booked another one? Are they in this funnel? Where's our funnel? Are they in here? Are they trapped? Are they not attending anything? Are they just sitting around here and refusing to go down, essentially? Do we need to sell them on something different? So we should be tracking everyone that comes in through a booking. Now, lead qualification and scoring is very similar to what we just spoke about with implementing the ChatGPT. We can use the forms plus this scoring with GPT, and we can generate a full system for it. This can also go through and you can add additional steps if you really need. The point is this whole system, this is a system here. Whoops. Right. So this is a system, and maybe a lead score is just scoring where like this 20 is pretty much just a score. So you can do it individually or you can implement full systems. 15 here. We have another one that we've done for recruitment. Agencies do a really good example of this. So whenever the recruiter's using this, so it just shows it's not just sales systems. A recruiter's using this to any new candidate who applies for a new job, right? We need to rate the candidate. So they apply. There's a job online. They apply. We give them. They give us their resume. We go through. We check it all, and then we decide whether we call them or not. And then this is all very biased based on the person. And then we go through. We make a calendar. We try to book the person, and it's a whole big process, right? But instead, what we can do is they submit the form here under this type form or any sort of form, just get the resumes. It then gets added to a sheet. The sheet will just be storing all this data. From there, we can rate candidates. This is that scoring aspect that we spoke about, right? This is the lead score. This whole make scenario is a lead system. So in here, we can say you're analyzing the input from 0 to 100. The job we need is digital marketing. This is hard coded in at the moment, but this would obviously pull it from the cells in here. And you can put what you're looking for in the job, the qualifications, and then we have the input from what the applicant has put in, and then we output from 0 to 100. From there, as you can see, the scoring system then takes effect. If they score above 75, based purely on GPT's analysis, so unbiased in anything, they get added to a spreadsheet that says these guys are potential hires. From there, it creates a calendar link. It then creates a reply and replies to the candidate saying, hey, congratulations on, we think you're a good fit for this role. It will then send an email with the link in it that we created here, and then it'll log it into their CRM, an ATS base. If it's from 50 to 75, so now we're broadening the matching of the scoring, we can add them to a manual review. And this is where we notify a recruiter, or this would be a sales team or someone, a human intervention, I guess, would then go through and review the whole thing and just say, okay, maybe he's a 50, but because I don't know, he likes mice and that fits into our client, he's a perfect fit. And then they can go through and change the score to 75 and trigger all this stuff up here. And then if they're under 50, obviously not a good candidate, we can add them to the rejected sheet. From there, we can, send them an email or notify the team, but really we want these on autopilot or add it to a follow-up nurture sequence. So that should cover these two sections, right? So lead scoring can be incredibly powerful. It can be used for every single industry. I mean, I've just shown you, one was a sales team for construction was the first one, construction business. The second one was a recruitment agency. So we're still using lead scoring regardless of the industry. Excuse me. Now, abandoned funnel recovery. Missed calls is a huge one. We've been through missed calls. I think in yesterday's one, we spoke about efficiency of missed calls. We should be sending SMSs. There should be a simple flow, such as um, we should be watching whether some sort of missed call happens, and then adding it to a sheet, and then um, sending them a message back. Right, send a message, and then sending them a message back. Now, this may not be Twilio. This might be some sort of service provider in which we can go through the back end and just connect it all like that. But something so simple such as this is, you miss a call here. This is a missed call. It triggers, hey, we missed something. Gets added to a sheet so you can see how many missed calls you do in a week. And then it sends them a message. And this solves a incredibly huge amount of revenue leaks. We have proposals not being viewed. So setting up proposal systems, you should be being notified when someone doesn't proceed with a form that you've sent. So where is... We'll do this one. So when we send through proposals, we can trigger certain stages to be authorized. We can trigger certain stages to be detected, right? It's not going to let me edit it. We can trigger, has a document been viewed? What is the current status of it? And we can really hone down on that. We'll open this one because it's got it. And then from there, if they've viewed the document but haven't proceeded, we can then add it to a fall, right? So we can see document status equals completed, but it could also be incomplete. It could be viewed. It could be any sort of status. And then when that happens, it can go through a full cycle, right, through make.com. So we can plug in most contracting systems can plug in through here, and we can just watch the document. So we can watch the status of it and then act accordingly. And then send them a reminder. So once they get the reminder and they sign the contract, then cool, we can start automating. This is a onboarding sequence. So we onboard the clients and we send them an email. We add them to school community Slack channels, all the jazz. But abandoning funnel recovery, like we spoke about here, can be very, very powerful. So we look at all these dots in here, and we could get majority of them through with some sort of recovery system. So I hope that gives you some ideas of it. There is so much more that you could do. This is the very, very basic stuff you can implement. For sales systems, you have AI phone callers. We've got cold email, mass outreach. We have scraping tools. We have full personalizations like we've seen using GBT. We've got outreach, inbound, outbound, even implementing VAPI callers into all 11 labs and personalizing and the voice so it sounds like the owner, and putting that in as an inbound phone answering. Scraping certain platforms, scraping competitors, doing analysis. There's a huge amount of things that we can implement for sales, but just for a simple automation such as these can double, triple revenue pretty damn easy, and increase that the customer retention rate. So the impacts of getting this right is obviously conversion rates rise without new ad spend. So all of this is under the assumption that you don't need to go out and spend a huge amount on ads or like brand awareness campaigns. We should be able to convert a hell of a lot higher. Maybe we're converting 20% of total customers that we're booking, where now we can raise this to 60. And if this is out of 10 and these are 5K products, right? Then we can see, that's 10K and we're moving it up to, that's not 10K. Well, yeah, 5K. And we can see like the difference that's moving it up. So sales team or founder closes faster because we have everything in here automated. This whole process here, because this is all automated, the founder or the sales team doesn't need to follow up these people, doesn't need to send reminder SMSs. It doesn't need to follow up with contracts or waste its time on warm leads. It just frees everyone up. And what this does is it puts cash on autopilot, essentially. The founder can automate nearly everything and then just show up to the sales meeting and close. The sales team's the same thing. When they finish a sales call, they can put in the notes into a type form or some sort of, even Google Sheets would work, and then that can automatically flow into certain aspects of the CRM, which then leads your sales reps to just close and get on more calls and close more deals. And then finally, you feel in control of growth. You see the automations happening. You know that out of your 10 out of 10 of your sales reps are all closing, rather than maybe out of 10, we have one that's doing like a lot of admin stuff. And then maybe one is doing sourcing leads because they're not scraping. Sourcing. So we feel a lot more in control when we've got everything flowing through and we're in this situation where just everyone is closing and everyone's doing pretty much what you want for, as a role, as a founder, you hire sales reps and you're like, yes, I'm going to have 10 sales reps. They're going to close. They're going to make so much money. But then all the other aspects of, the admin, the data entry, the sourcing of leads, the follow-ups, all of that. So hope that covers everything. I'm going to end it there. If you do have any questions or something specific, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this quick run through for sales systems and revenue building for automation. Like and subscribe, and then wait for tomorrow's video where we are going to cover, what are we covering tomorrow? Delivering on scale. So we've made the money. The money is coming in, the money is efficient, and it's skyrocketing. Now what we need to do is work out how we can deliver this to more people, which means more money, higher scale, and really just start scaling the business up. So any comments or you have anything for me, let me know in the comments or send me an email. My email address is in the description. Otherwise, I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a good day.